Recording 10-3-12. You said you wanted to tell a story, Victor. What is it? I think you'll like this one, Dr. Pierce. It's a good story. Then tell it. A long time ago, maybe 20 or 30 years ago, a boy named Ryan was in high school. The day was like any other. I woke up, got dressed, and brushed my teeth. I tried to sneak out before my dad woke up, not managing to and getting a quick "you piece of shit" before I left. I started the long walk to school, past one block, then another, then a third. I popped in the earphones to my phone, turning on some music. I kept walking, seeing a group of self-proclaimed cool kids sitting at the local coffee shop, smoking and laughing at anyone who dared to walk by. Today, I was the lucky winner. "Hey, asswipe," Vic yelled. I ignored him. "Bitch, he was talking to you." Stacy, his girlfriend, stepped in front of me. "Move. Do something for yourself once. We're in high school. The fact that you're still in this dumb clique is childish." I stepped to the side. She mirrored me. "Push him, Stacy," Vic yelled, the others cheering. She listened, shoving me back and causing me to spill all of my stuff onto the ground. They stood around me, laughing, while I shoved my stuff into my bag. They stopped and I looked at them, seeing Vic with my sketchbook. I felt my heart stop, knowing most of those drawings were the different ways I wanted to see Vic. A hole in his head, his guts spilling into the floor, ripped in half. These were just a few. "So, you can think you're fucking tough, bitch. Drawing your little pictures about how you want me to die? I'll show you Hey, get away from that kid," the coffee shop owner yelled, walking towards us. Vic and his friends ran off, throwing my book onto the floor. I thanked the owner and stood, looking at the ground as I walked away. I put my headphones back in, turning on my favorite song. I walked to the school, quickly rushing to my favorite teacher, sitting down and starting to draw. I drew Vic, falling out of a window, getting impaled on glass. I laughed to myself and smiled. This brief moment of peace was interrupted when the door slammed open. "So, this is your new hideout? Good to see you like school, bitch," Vic said, walking over. He grabbed the page out of my sketchbook, the one I was just drawing. He studied it, his face contorting in bitter rage. He crumpled it up and threw it on the ground. "So, you do think you're tough," he said, his voice carrying a creepy tone of calm. No, Vic, Shut up! Drawing pictures of how you'd kill me? Ignoring me when I'm talking to you? You must be retarded!" he yelled, his group surrounding me. They moved in closer, backing me towards a window. I looked at them like a deer in the headlights, obviously fearing for my life. "Vic, please, I'm sorry," I begged, hoping against hope that they wouldn't kill me. "Travis, Brock, Mark," the three other guys looked at Vic. "Let's play a ring around the rosy." "Push him." He pushed me to Brock. They pushed me around the circle, laughing and smiling. I told them to stop. I told them to let me go. They didn't listen. They pushed me until I lost my balance and fell back, falling out the window of the second floor. They looked scared as I fell, hitting the ground with a snap. There was a glass in my chest. I felt blood dripping out and I knew I had broken bones. But I stood, looking around. I noticed people running over to see me. I tried to talk to them, but they went past me, running to my body. What the hell? I died. "Get back!" I heard a teacher yell. She ran to my body, calling an ambulance. I looked at the window I fell out of and saw Vic staring at my body. Or was it me he was looking at? He was looking me in the eye. He could see me. I walked into the school and up the stairs, walking towards the classroom. This was my new purpose. Revenge. I pulled a glass shard from my chest and walked closer. Vic turned to me, looking me head on. I walked to Travis and slit his throat. The only one who saw what happened was me and Vic. The others just screamed. I laughed and they all ran. For weeks, I followed them, purposely staying away from them. Vic would see me and it grew a paranoia inside of him. I would find my way to the others. Brock was first. I followed him, trying my best to show up in the mirrors and dreams. He would see me for a second up until the point that I killed him. I pushed a shard of glass through his heart, a sickening smile on my face. He looked at me, a begging pleading like I was when they pushed me. I watched him die. I taped a picture of him that I drew a long time ago onto his chest once he died, and smiled. In the picture, he had died in the same way. I watched as Vic saw what had become of his friend. I watched him realize who drew the picture taped to his friend. The way he cried and begged for people to see what was going on. This was so much fun. Mark was after Brock. He was harder to push to insanity. He was interesting. He would get mad, yelling things like, "Kill me already," and "Show yourself, bitch." I hated that word. I waited until he was getting into the shower. I used the shower head to hang him. I made it look like suicide. I laughed and watched him strangle out. I put a picture of him being executed by hanging in the mirror. I thought for a second, then slit his wrists and drew out, "Sorry, Vic," in the blood above the picture. I watched Vic drop further into insanity. Stacy was killed on prom night, fitting for her to die in a beautiful dress. She wasn't as bad as the others. I watched her walk up and accept her crown for prom queen. I thought for a second, then moved to the sandbag ropes. I cut the one above her. Screams of "watch out," then crack. She was buried under 5 bags of sand. When the paramedics came, they said her spine and neck were both snapped. She looked at me as she was carted off, her dead, lifeless eyes staring blankly at me. I left a picture of her coated in pig's blood, much like Carrie. I stood and smiled holding my glass, looking directly at Vic who ran at me, getting himself carried off to a mental institution. And Ryan is still hunting Vic to this day, Doctor. Isn't your name Victor? Maybe the nightmares you have is caused by you thinking that you're this Vic. Dr. Pierce, don't you get it? I am Vic. He's coming for me. Cut recording. Recording 10/4/12. Patient Victor Tremor is now deceased. He died by impalement and fall. He was pushed out of the window, which should have had a metal cage on it, and he should have been supervised. We'll be checking our staff for negligence in the following hours. This is the final recording on Victor Tremor.